Alright, let's begin this first series. Our first player here at the top right, we got our red Protoss player from Alpha X. Give it up for Zoun.
And his opponent in the bottom left corner of the map, playing as the blue Terran for Storm Gaming, it is GUMIHO.
Alright, so if you guys are not aware of the format of this tournament, it's basically a GSL style tournament. We're going to have 8 players, 2 groups for the group stage, and all matches are a best of 3. And then we head into the playoffs, where all the matches will be a best of 5, and of course the top 4 will advance to the playoffs. So we begin the road to the playoffs here on Group A.
Yeah, I think this should be a very interesting matchup. I'm not too familiar with GUMIHO's Terran versus Protoss, but I do know that our homeboy Zoun, you know, he's definitely up there with the best. He's got some probably some tricks up his sleeve.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, both of these players are, I would say, quite standard playstyles. I don't really see them do anything too insane. I feel like they kind of mechanically are just really great and solid. So I think that's why they kind of just play it out standard.
Right. Although I have seen Zoun's mid and late game come off pretty strong. I think, you know, there was this one time he was playing Blink Disruptor against Terran. It was pretty fun to watch.
Alright, so look at what we have here, TeaDragon. We got ourselves a Stargate coming out of Zoun. Now,
Still pretty standard, right? As in, the majority of Protoss will always go for Stargate against Terran.
yeah, I think the kind of the meta or the most common openings are either Twilight Blink or Stargate. And the interesting thing about Stargate is that, of course, it can start off with Oracles, or it could be Phoenixes.
Right, right. Now, what do you think of this, having a Hellion for a first opener? Ooh, GUMIHO actually, very nice, trades out the Marine for the Adept. But yeah, typically, do we see a Hellion first, or do we see Widowmine first? What is typically the split on that?
Well, with one factory with no tech labs or reactor, I would say generally it will be a Widowmine opening, but instead it looks like GUMIHO is opening up with Hellions instead. Now, of course, he can make a medevac and of course drop those Hellions, but instead he has elected to go for a tech lab on that starport instead, going for the Banshee. Now, I think the thing is, he may want to go ahead and just attack the send the Banshee at the main base mineral line. And then he used the Reaper and the Hellion to attack the front. So of course the Reaper can grenade any of the Adepts or Stalkers that are blocking the wall, and then of course the Hellions can run in. But it looks like Zoun has kind of cleaned up the majority of GUMIHO's forces for the time being.
Yeah, and look at this now. This Oracle is going to come in virtually uncontested. 2 Marines finally do make it down to the ramp, so that Oracle is just there to sort of spot what's going on at the natural base of GUMIHO. But I don't think Zoun has scouted the Cloak Banshee, so there is potential for some damage there.
Yes, indeed. Especially since the Oracle is using up all the energy, so there's not going to be any revelation for the Banshee.
Right. Yeah, that Oracle is going to come in through the backside. Is Zoun going to see it? Oh, I don't think Zoun saw the... At the very least, he didn't see the tech lab. Now, Cloak has finished. The second Banshee is on the way. At the same time, Zoun has already taken his third base. It's about halfway done. But yeah, so far these Hellions have been pretty well defended by the Adepts.
Yeah, they have definitely been, but there's absolutely nothing here for this Banshee. And it's just gonna go unscouted here, and this is the point of the game where, as a Protoss, your heart kind of sinks.
Yeah. Oh, very good tag by the Oracle, though. Makes sure that that Banshee is you know, going to go uncloaked for the time being. But yeah, 4 kills so far, and a lot of lost mining time. Plus those Hellions, those Marines at the front, you know, just trying to see what they can do. So far, I'd say this was pretty well defended by Zoun, actually. You know, not suffering too much damage, just some lost mining time. But yeah, considering he didn't see the cloak in the first place, that was pretty well defended.
Yeah, I definitely could have gone a lot worse, I would say. So yeah, I agree with you there. And he does have the third base, so at the very least he can kind of chrono boost those lost probes a bit quicker, and kind of replenish his economy that way.
Now, I do like this move out of GUMIHO, placing down the third command center directly on the low ground, just sort of making sure that he can keep up economically.
Yes, it just saves that little bit extra time, right? I mean, you don't have to lift off, you don't have to wait for the orbital to finish. I mean, well, you still gotta wait for the orbital to finish, but at the very least, you don't need to lift it off and fly and just wait for that.
You can just start mining immediately.
Yep.
Alright, so we're seeing a gateway explosion out of Zoun. We see Blink is about to finish, Forge going down as well. For GUMIHO, we see the +1 attack plus stim coming up. So yeah, it looks like it's going to be very standard Marine tank play going up against our Protoss.
Yep. So kind of things normalizing a bit. Looks like they're going to go ahead and try to sneak in some few kills here and there. Not going to get too much done as the tank is pretty much solidified there with the defense. But a nice little catch here by Zoun, being active with his air units and gonna catch the Banshees. This is really a big sigh of relief when you can kind of clean up the Banshee and you know that you don't have to worry about keeping your Oracles and your Phoenixes back at home for those Banshees. You can just kind of fly out, you know, tag GUMIHO's army and see where they're kind of headed at, and just make sure your units are in the correct position.
Yeah, definitely. I found that in a lot of pro games, the most damage that Cloak Banshees actually do comes after the initial push, you know, when the opponent isn't expecting them. So that's not only a relief for Zoun to be able to be active with his air units, but it also guarantees, hey, in the future, I don't have to worry about those Banshees because they don't exist anymore.
Yeah.
Now, I do like this, the Dark Shrine follow-up. The Robo-Bay is just about to finish as well. So, what do you think? Are we going to see... There we go. Okay, we are going to see Colossi in the field soon.
Yeah, looks like Colossus is his tech of choice. Considering he does have the Stargate, I mean, I guess he can, of course, go into Phoenixes. More Phoenixes if he does see a lot of Vikings. But I think for now, he's just going to go ahead and just save those gas for the BTs instead. You know, just going to build up his Colossus for us.
Yeah, now is one Colossus going to be enough here? I'm seeing 3 tanks, a bunch of Marauders. This is, I don't know about you, but it looks a little bit scary to me.
It does. It definitely does. I mean, GUMIHO is ahead by 20 army supply, has +1 as well versus the +0 of Zoun. And that's going to force Zoun to actually cancel this Nexus. And it's going to be the correct call because he doesn't really have anything to defend the 4th base there.
Right, now here we go. We do see the tank setting up kind of aggressively, some decent force fields, but here we go, more reinforcements from the south. That shield battery overcharge is putting in some work, and that first Colossus is staying alive. At the meantime, we do see a huge Zealot run by finally being cleaned up at the cost of just about 15 SCVs, but this main Terran army at the front is still a big problem, and I don't really see any easy way out for Zoun. Ooh, now taking a lot of tank hits are the Stalkers, but... Ooh, okay, first Colossus goes down, and finally the bio is mostly cleaned up.
Yeah, a little bit of a risky maneuver there by Zoun. He actually exposed his Colossus. Could have been picked off very easily. In fact, GUMIHO did take out one of the Colossuses, but left one alive. But this Colossus, second Colossus, will barely just survive with red health life. Let's see here, how many health? 23 health. Should ought to go near the shield battery there to heal up, but a big hold there by Zoun. It looked a bit scary, but all of a sudden Zoun does stabilize, and he's the one now ahead in the overall supply.
Yeah, that was pretty well played. I was kind of nervous about the first Zealot warp in using the warp prism down south, but it worked out. You know, you got to see the cancel on the fourth command center, which was out and exposed, and then also the rest of the buy was cleaned up, forcing Gumiho to actually pull an entire middle line worth of SCVs. Oh, but where are all these SCVs going? Oh, okay. Looks like the command center is floating across that way. But unfortunately, a zealot is going to scout that out, and the army is pretty much in position to take care of all of those SCVs. Ooh,
Oh,
this was unfortunate timing. Yeah.
yeah, a little bit of a lucky find there. Although Zoun doing a nice job sending out his Zealots all over the place to scout. But now here comes those DTs, absolutely defenseless. Defenseless here. He does have turrets, but all the units are at the third and fourth base.
Yeah, I feel like Gumiho is, he's lost a little bit of control of the situation since that first push, and now I think we're gonna get to see Zoun really start to power up, especially if he gets that fourth Nexus up completed. His economy is gonna be through the roof.
Oh yeah, for sure. Now Blink DT, I mean the Blink for the DTs are about to finish. It's gonna be more annoying for Gumiho, but at the very least he does know that DTs are out in the field, so he should have some turrets and maybe some planetaries to help defend against that. But oh, look at these disruptors!
Oh, okay, pretty decent hit. A third one is gonna come out. Oh, okay, that was a medium-sized hit. That fourth disruptor in the back. Let's see how much damage it can do. Okay, excellent splits by Gumiho, but it looks like the main Protoss force is busy chasing another Bioforce in the front. But Gumiho actually taps out. Zoun will take game number 1. Yeah, that is a very, very early probe. Now, is it going to be a proxy, or what are the viable cheeses for Protoss here?
Well, he could have definitely placed a proxy gateway and do that parting 2-gate push. But we also have seen Protoss send out that probe early to just kind of annoy the Terran, kind of distract him. Now, of course, it is kind of questionable because I don't know if it's actually helpful, because of course that probe is not going to be mining for the Protoss, and you gotta wonder like how much economy can he disrupt to make up for that early send out. But yeah, you do see some Protoss send their probe out early, and then of course some don't. I think it's just mainly up to preference.
Right, right. Like nothing out of the ordinary just yet. We do see a Marine first for Gumiho, and the Nexus comes after the Cyber on the side of Zoun.
Yeah, pretty normal opening, nothing too crazy, and I think that kind of is notable how both players do have a kind of a similar playstyle in terms of they're not one to of course do cheeky builds. Every now and then, maybe every blue moon, but I think Zoun really mainly known for his timing attacks, and then also his just kind of his technical solid play. And then Gumiho, of course, he's one that is also technically sound and does have really great build orders, of course, and of course, who can't forget about his mech play.
That's right. Now, I don't think Battle Mech is going to be too viable against Protoss. Or, well, I don't want to speak too soon, but I've never seen it in pro play, so...
Yeah, it's really hard to pull off mech against Protoss. Although, if there is a kind of point in the game where if you can kind of do some nice damage with your maybe like some Hellions, and then you kind of transition into mech, you can actually set up a pretty really strong mech fortress where the Protoss can't really break you, and then you just kind of mass up to like, I don't know, like mass tanks and doors or mass battle cruisers or something crazy where it will be very difficult for the Protoss to fight you in the late game.
Right, right. Well, that Stalker is going to get a pick on the Marine, but looks like these 2 additional Marines are going to come onto the low ground, shoo it away. Now, speaking of mech, I have seen some very interesting builds where the Terran will proxy Cyclones. And then they will use their barracks, also proxied. They will use that to gain high ground vision and essentially cheese the Protoss. Those were pretty interesting to watch.
Oh yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Like back in the day, when it was like I think early Legacy of the Void, when the Cyclones were introduced, yeah, there was like people like doing proxy Cyclone plays, and not gonna lie, it was pretty difficult to actually face against.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. Now, I do like this opening for Zoun. We see that Chrono on the blink, but at the same time, it's a pretty early third, so we know that Zoun is aiming for a more economical game.
Yeah, it would seem so. Let's see, how many gateways does he has? He has one. Yeah, he went for 2 gateways, so yeah, he definitely went for a more economic favored opening there, because you know that's extra 150 minerals can be used to place that third nexus a bit more earlier.
Right, right. Typically, the Protoss aims for 3 to 4 before the third nexus. Is that correct? Or
Yeah, I think
4
three is the standard, but 4 is like
Yeah.
when you going for like a 4 gate blink.
Right,
You're gonna
right,
delay your nexus, your third nexus for that. So yeah, there's that. Those 3 variations, I would say.
right. Now, I just want to note this medevac did try to squeeze in earlier. Gumiho checking it once again, but Zoun not caught lacking at all. He will have 4 stalkers in place in his main to shoo that medevac away.
Yeah, it looks like the medevac is gonna go ahead into the dirt instead, but oh, look and behold, there's a observer that spots it all.
Very, very good timing on the observer.
Yeah, Zoun is like trying to hunt for it, but GUMIHO is gonna go ahead and fly it to the top left side. We'll see. We'll keep an eye on that and see if it does get significant damage. But in the meantime, Hellion does one Hellion does run by. Doesn't get too much done, mainly just for scouting purposes. I would imagine.
Now, this is a little bit funny. I think that Gumiho has an extra tech lab. I wonder why that is.
Oh, you mean for his barracks?
Right. Oh, wait, no. This was the first tech lab on the starport that gave him the Raven, and then he needed to build another reactor for the starport. I think that's why.
Yeah.
Now, this medevac is going to come in here. Oh! Okay, first, Widowmine is going to try to burrow. Not quite able to burrow in time. Second, Widowmine is going to get a shot off, but it's not going to kill any more than just 1 pro. Now, the feedback did go down on the medevac, and so far, virtually no losses for the Protoss.
Yeah, that was really well defended there by Zoun. He was kind of anticipating it. I think he knew that the medevac was out and about, and so he kind of made sure to babysit the mini-map and keep an eye out for that medevac, and he was able to snipe it down with relatively little losses.
Right. Now, this Terran push is a little bit scary. It's going to come out right when Combat Shield and +1 attack are going to finish. Good Storm, though, zoning away most of the Bio for now. Shield Battery Overcharge is popped. Now, we do see Charge. Wow, I didn't even know that Zoun got Charge. Second Storm is going to go down, shooing away the rest of the Bio. And so far, I'd say this was pretty... well, I mean, it's still dicey, of course, but once you get on top of the tanks, it's pretty much over.
Yeah, especially since that Mortal came right at the last second, and that, of course, that Mortal providing a lot of firepower against the tanks as well, and the Marauders. And now, Zoun is going to go ahead and give chase here, and ooh!
Wow. Very good split on the War Prism, and or very good targeting on the War Prism by Gumiho. But yeah, that War Prism is going to live just a little while longer, enough for another Warpin round of Zealots.
So now Zoun feeling very comfortable. Gonna actually throw down a force base, and I actually really like this decision because Gumiho actually committed to that attack. So his dirt base just only now landed here. So his economy is a little bit late. while Zoun is going to go ahead and pull further ahead with his fourth base if he can kind of hold on to it.
A small skirmish is going to cost GUMIHO his Widow Mines as well as Zoun his Archon, which is actually pretty expensive considering they were, you know, 2 High Templar. But other than that, looks like a little bit of a lull as both players are just trying to power up for the time being.
Alright, so the question is now that I have is what kind of next part of the game that Zoun wants to transition into, because he did get the Storm Tech, which is really nice, but at a certain point you really got to mix in some additional oh wait, actually hold that thought, there's some harassment. I am not sure what happened there.
Yeah, I believe it was a couple of zealots. Getting 5 SUVs is pretty good.
Okay.
But yeah, I agree with you, you know, especially now that ghosts are coming out 3 at a time. Oh wow, that's a lot. Yeah, I mean, Storm, if you have excellent, like perfect Warp Prism, High Templar Storm Micro, like you will be okay, but I agree, like it's such a big risk. Oh, excellent Storms. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that
just
was
directly center mass. Wow.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure Zoun got some like Christmas blanket for Christmas, and he used that blanket to blanket storm GUMIHO there.
Yeah. I like the way that you put that. But here we go. Now the Liberators are also in the mix. EMP is going down. It looks like there's 1 storm left. It will be used to hold off the Terran for the time being. But yeah, this is not looking great. We do see 2 Colossi on the way, but you know, they need to be well defended. They need to be out and about. Another storm goes down on basically all of the Marauders. Ghosts in the back doing well. Stalkers are going to blink forward and take care of the rest of the Liberators. Another storm goes down. And it looks like just for now, Zoun is going to push this back once again.
Yeah, that's the defender's advantage, actually really helping out Zoun there with the cannon and the shield battery, and now the Colossi are out and about. There's a +1 the +1 armor there about to finish as well, but before then, I think GUMIHO is going to go ahead and tap out as Zoun just has too much bases and too much units. GG. Zoun wins 2-0.